What is up, Insaners, and welcome to the Game Week 22, the double Game Week 22 deadline stream. How are you guys doing? How has your week been or the time been? It just feels so long since we kind of last met on a deadline stream, and I think it's going to be a very interesting stream. I think it's going to be a very interesting week as well. There are a lot of double game weeks coming up, starting with double game week 22. We have a double in 23, and a lot of information to digest and divest. I think we'll take it slow by slow and very slowly in terms of what all can be possibilities, etc. I think this is a very crucial phase in terms of the FPL season for most of the FPL managers. I think this is where you can actually make or break your season because there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. So if you're active, if you're engaged, I think it's going to be it's going to be really really fun for you, and I think it's going to be a very interesting ride as well. So welcome again, welcome all of you to the deadline stream. uh, please feel free to add any questions, anything that you want to check or talk about, or you just want to confirm. I'm here at least for the next hour or so, and I'll try to help you out in terms of your transfer queries, in terms of any captaincy discussion, anything that you want to discuss. Please feel free to add that in the chat, and I think we'll take it from there. Hello to you, Elmer. Start 2 of 3, burn, dunk. All right. I think if I'm starting, two of these three, I'll at least if you have Trippier, and if this is a double up with Burn, I think you can easily start Dunk and White. I think both Dunk and White have really good potential. Dunk is not someone who will give you a lot of attacking threat generally, but then again, Bournemouth aren't really a great side, especially in terms of defending. So I think there can be an odd goal here and there. There could be a clean sheet as well. So I think Dunk is really, really good. I think White as well. We can see some sort of a manager bounce with Sean Dyke, coming at Everton. But again, how much can he really change in a week or so? I'm not very sure of that. So I think if I'm starting two, especially when I have a Trippier, let's say for example, and Burn is like a double up with Trippier, I think it'll be Dunk and White. Those will be the two options that I'll go for. Start Greenwood or Mitrovic or Cucurella. I think Mitrovic against Chelsea, in spite of Chelsea signing a hell lot of players, and there's a lot happening in Chelsea. Exciting times, exciting days. I think it just feels that Mitrovic can still score against a Chelsea team as well, because we've already seen that he can score against tougher teams. And I think if I'm looking at one option, I'm still not very sure of Cucurella. I think I'll still shy away from all Chelsea options. I think the next 3 or 4 weeks will probably give us an idea in terms of which Chelsea options to go for. Whether Cucurella is even in the starting 11, even starting games for Chelsea, we still don't know all of that. So I think particularly this week, I know Fulham is not that great at defending, but I still feel Mitrovic against Chelsea is still possibly the best option to go for. Greenwood, I'm still again not very sure in terms of his minutes. I think he will get some minutes, but I'm still not very sure whether he's probably going to even play about 100 minutes across 2 games, right? So, yes, you still want a double game week player, and I get that understanding, but I just feel Mitrovic is the one to go for. Hey, Pratty, hello to you. My day's been good. It's been really exciting. We launched our first FPL podcast, the Insanely Football FPL podcast. The launch was, I mean, the first episode came out today. It's been quite, I think it's been there in the making for quite some time. So really really hyped about that. If you've not checked it out, maybe now you just spend some time on the deadline stream. But I think on a weekly basis we'll be doing this FPL podcast. So I think it's really exciting times, really really happy that it finally happened. And I think it's been a long day because there have been so many DMs, there have been so many comments, etc., in terms of checking out players, checking out captaincy. There's so many people that have reached out to me in terms of their doubts, etc. So I think it's been a long day, but yeah, I think really really happy and excited to be back at FPL because I think it's been quite some time now. Martinelli, De Bruyne, and Almiron to Saka, Odegaard, and Fernandes for a hit. So this is a very common question that a lot of people are asking. I think first of all, I don't think so. Martinelli is as bad as people are making him out to be, because I still feel he's one of the best, or he's been one of the better attackers, or a really good player in the Arsenal team. And Arsenal are where they are because of Martinelli's contributions as well. So I really don't think so. Martinelli is just gonna go out of the team. I think it's been a bit hyped up, to be very very honest. Now Trossard is a player who can play in multiple positions, right? So it's just not on the left. He can play as a forward. I don't think so that that's going to probably happen because Gabriel Jesus is also there. He can even play on the right side. He can even play behind the striker. So there are a lot of possibilities with Trossard, and I don't think so Martin is just going to go out. But in case if you still want to go for a player, I think Odegaard is a really good option. De Bruyne, taking out De Bruyne and then getting in Fernandes. Saka Odegaard really sets you up well for the next week. So in case if you're looking at attacking this week, I think you have Fernandes absolutely spot on. Then you also have Saka and Odegaard, which is possibly the better combination. I definitely get that. But then what happens to De Bruyne? I mean, is there a plan for De Bruyne? Do you plan to take, get him back next week? Maybe you plan to get Mahrez next week, because I still feel there is a case to be made for at least three Man City players. Three Man City players for their double in 23 as well. I think, and I know a lot of people might not be able to go there because they're probably stuck in other positions. They have maybe other transfers, etc. But overall, these transfers look really good. I know it's for a hit, and if you can avoid that hit, maybe do that. But otherwise, I still feel, I think this is okay. I mean, for a hit over the next couple of weeks where you were getting certain players who are playing 180 odd minutes, I think it should be fine. What's your plan for next week? Next game week and game week 25. So this is my confirmed team. I've already made the transfers. I took a -4 as well. I probably could have avoided the -4, but then I would have probably ended up with Nonto from Leeds, and maybe I was not. I mean, inside I was not very happy and keen about it. So I think that is where the hit kind of came from. Next week I have a luxury transfer to make. I have point 3 in the bank. I think Martinelli right now is 6.7. Odegaard will definitely reach 7 if he's not, if he's not reached 7 just yet. So the plan would be to make a luxury move in case if I feel that Martinelli is maybe not getting minutes or he doesn't start this week. Maybe he's even playing bad, etc. I can make that luxury move. I can get towards an Odegaard. I think Odegaard is definitely a nail starter in the Arsenal lineup. So I can make that move. I think other than that, I'm pretty much set with Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, and Haaland. I think all three are really good options. I don't necessarily have to make any changes here. I think it's not necessary to go for a Man City defender. I mean, you can easily avoid Man City defense, and in this case, I have triple Man City attack, which is pretty decent, pretty good. So I think the plan here would be to go to Martinelli to Odegaard in case if it's required. Otherwise, we'll see if there's any injuries coming up or if there's anything that comes up which maybe requires a certain attention. I can go. I can look into that. Game week 25 is probably going to be a bit interesting. I might take out Shaw, and there are a couple of options that I can go for. I'm looking at an Aston Villa defender as well. I mean, they their fixture is okay, and I mean, I think they are up against Everton. So we'll also have an idea in terms of how Everton is playing at that point in time, and I think that could be a potential route to a lot of players. I think we can take out Shaw, especially after game week 24. In game week 25, I can definitely take out Shaw. Maybe go for a different defender, and I think that is where I'm currently looking at in terms of my game week 25 plan. But I think overall the team looks pretty solid. I'm not going to take out Trippier. I may not take out Rashford as well. Fernandes is another option I can possibly take out depending on who's looking good at that point of time. So these are certain moves that I can make before gaming 25. But overall, I think my team is pretty much set and solid, and I don't necessarily have to make a lot of changes. I already own Trippier, but thanks for answering. I mean, yeah, as I said, right? If you already own Trippier, I think Trippier is fine. Burn doesn't even come close to Trippier in terms of his attacking potential and all that stuff. And I think Duncan White are pretty good, pretty solid. And Ketty or Odegaard, one transfer. If you are making one right now, I think depends on whether you want to go safe or whether you want to slightly do some chasing in terms of rank, in terms of points. Because I think Nketiah is still going to be a differential. At least till this week, he's going to be a differential. I don't necessarily think that there are a lot of people. And I know that there is a transfer route that is going across, platforms, Twitter, Instagram. I've also spoken about it. I am sure other content creators have also talked about it, where people are downgrading Kane to an Nketiah and then they are upgrading an Almiron to a Bruno Fernandes. I think this is a very common transfer route that a lot of people are taking this week. And in spite of that, I still feel Nketiah is going to be a differential. I think if you want to go safe, absolutely safe, I don't necessarily think that Nketiah's minutes will be shared by anybody. I still feel Gabriel Jesus is still some weeks away in terms of returning in the lineup. So I think if you're going safe, you go Odegaard. If you are okay taking a bit of a risk, and if you want to do some points chasing, haul chasing, maybe in your mini leagues etc., you're quite far behind, and if you want to chase some rank, I think Nketiah is then the option to go for. Hey, do you reckon Cucurella starts this week? I mean, he can, and I mean, it looks like that he will, but I mean, Chilwell, James, etc., all of them are back in training. I don't necessarily believe that they're going to start all of a sudden and play 60 odd minutes, even maybe 45 minutes, because they may not be that match fit. So I feel Cucurella is safe for this week, but in general, I'll possibly be looking out for Cucurella in terms of how many minutes is he getting, because Potter likes to rotate. I mean, this is one thing that we are very clear of. Potter likes to rotate. There will be a lot of rotation in that Chelsea camp. There are a lot of players to rotate as well. I mean, who the hell knows why have they bought so many players and what are they going to do with all these players? But I generally think Cucurella for this week looks okay, but I won't be surprised if he's benched. I mean, that's where I am, to be honest. I'm captaining Bruno. Looks pretty solid. I mean, I still can't, convince myself that Bruno's a better pick than Rashford. I understand the temptation to go Bruno because you maybe want to go, slightly different. Everybody's captaining Rashford. A lot of people are triple captaining Rashford, and then you are trying to go a bit different and you go Fernandes. But I just feel Fernandes is more of a. I mean, it's like the KDB Haaland situation, right? You most of the times you won't, think about triple captaining a KDB because of the fact that he's feeding balls to Haaland. Haaland is the mainstay in that Man City attack. And KDB is more of an assister. Bruno Fernandes looks something similar here, where he's creating a lot of chances. I mean, he's creating chances for fun. We already know that. He's also scored a couple of goals or a few goals over the last couple of weeks. But in general, I just feel Bruno is more of a creator than, a goal scorer. Now, him shifting on the right, I still feel it's probably not going to be that great or as good as, a Rashford, for example, who definitely has more goal threat. So there's there's for sure a risk involved, but yeah, I mean, you know the risk, and I mean, you know why you're taking the risk. But yeah, I mean, all the best for that move. Would you risk starting Ferguson with Greenwood as my bench? Ferguson with Greenwood as my only bench player and roll or transfer out Cancelo? I mean, if if you taking a hit for Cancelo or if you're using a free transfer to Cancelo, I mean, if you have a free transfer, absolutely go for it. If you're taking a hit for it, don't do it. I mean, Ferguson with Greenwood is not ideal, but I still feel you can keep Greenwood as your number one option and then Ferguson maybe second. And over the over the two fixtures for Leeds, I mean, you can get some minutes and maybe get a haul or so. But yeah, I won't be very hopeful. Still, if you're taking a hit for it, don't do it. Wait for next week. If you have a free transfer available, take out Cancelo and buy. Why do you want to take that risk and why do you want to bother yourself with a bench which is that weak, right? So yeah, start Ferguson or Botman. I think I'll still start Botman just because of the security of the start. I mean, Botman is pretty much nailed. West Ham haven't really looked that great at all. They aren't really scoring goals. I think Botman should be okay. Hey Nigel, hello to you. Your team is David De Gea, Shar, White, Trippier, Mahrez, Bruno, Rashford, Martinelli. You have Kane, Haaland, and Ferguson. In your bench, you have Pereira, Diop, Cancelo. I mean, is there a question? Please let me know if you. I think again, apart from Ferguson, I think the team looks pretty decent. Double up with Trippier and Shar is also pretty solid. So I think it's fine. Having I mean Bruno Rashford is a good double up. Then you don't have Shaw, but you have covered that with David De Gea again. David De Gea is nowhere close to Luke Shaw in terms of any sort of attacking threat or even bonus points because I generally feel Luke Shaw especially when he's playing centre back, I think there's a good chance that he will end up in bonus points, but may not be the case with David De Gea. Anyways, I mean it's still a decent team. I would triple captaining Rashford. I'm still thinking, and that's why I have set a poll as well in terms of what are people doing because I want to triple captain him, but there's a voice inside of me which is saying that you just probably wait for next week and triple captain Haaland. Now I understand, and I've been switching, across throughout the week, where I've gone in the Haaland camp in 23, then I've gone to the Rashford camp in 22, and I don't think so. It's very different. I mean, Rashford is a player in form, though a player in form is not getting absolutely crazy hauls like Haaland. I mean, we have to be mindful of that, but the fixtures are really good. So you're not really committing a mistake here. Next week it's Haaland. We all know the potential of Haaland. He has decent I mean, of course, he has decent underlying stats, and there is hat trick potential. I mean, even against Arsenal, if it depends on the game, right, and how the game starts. Because if there's a goal here and there by either team, I think it could be because it's a must-win game for Man City. That is an absolute must for sure, and I think they have to win this game. So if they go behind, I think it's gonna be all bonkers, and I think it could be a massive scoreline. And in that case, I think Haaland could score even a couple of goals, even if it's like a 2-2 or a 3-2 or sort of a game. I won't be surprised if Haaland gets a brace, right? And then we have the Aston Villa fixture, who are a much improved side, but again, it could happen. I mean, I'm not fitting any narratives here. There's a case to be made for both options, but yeah, I just feel I just like Haaland a little bit more, and that's why I'm probably going to wait. I'm not triple captaining Rashford. Most likely, my triple captainship is left, and it's most likely going to be Haaland next week. Who is most important to get in? I think Man United options this week are the most important options to or players to get in. So if you don't have the likes of Rashford, Fernandes, Shaw, I mean, you get in those options. I think they are priority. If you already have those in place, then you maybe look towards an Arsenal option or a Man City option. Preferably an Arsenal option because they have a decent fixture this week as well, and then they have a double in 23. And I just feel Arsenal are slightly better in attack than Man City right now. I mean, they can easily score 3-4 goals in every sort of a game, right? And I think the preference should be towards an Odegaard. I think he's still the better option. If you have Martinelli, again, the switch doesn't really make any sense right now this week, unless, I mean, you don't have anything else to do, or maybe you're facilitating that move by making some transfers here and there. I think that could be a possibility as well. So I think that is where you prioritize. In case if you have all of this all sorted, I think then in case if you have Cancelo, maybe you can take him out and go for a different option. So I think there are certain routes that you can take. And yeah, I think that is where you start when you're looking at certain options or must have options for this week. Almost, I would not say must have because Arsenal and Man City are not must have this week, but yeah, the most important directions that you can take in terms of planning your transfers. Saka, Odegaard or Nketiah. I think the preference would be Odegaard, Nketiah, and Saka. I think that would be my order. I still feel, I mean, in terms of stats, I think it's Nketiah, Odegaard, and Saka. I think Saka is in terms of stats is almost maybe similar to Martinelli, even slightly lower than that. But he's overperforming his numbers, overperforming his stats, and that's why we've been seeing these kind of returns. It's just that he's a quality player, and I think that will continue as well. But I think if I'm rating all these options, I think it'll be Odegaard and Ketty and Saka in that order. Thoughts on Leeds defender? I'll avoid if I can because I feel that they're not going to keep clean sheets in both games. Forest away is not going to be an easy game. United away is definitely not going to be an easy game. I think United can easily score 3 or 4 goals in that game as well. So I will not go for a Leeds defender. If I'm going for a Leeds option, it's probably going to be a Bamford if I can, afford him in any way, or I can just make that switch from let's say a Kane to a Nonto, or maybe a Mitrovic or a Tony to a Nonto. So that kind of a move. Otherwise, I won't go for a Leeds defender. Best Cancelo replacements. I did a thread on this. On All About FPL blog as well. And I've also done a video. Like if you want a detailed discussion, maybe you can check that out on my channel, on my YouTube channel. But I think the short answer here would be that you possibly look at Luke Shaw and the Arsenal defense first. If you already had that sorted, or if you already have those options in place, then you maybe look towards a Man City option. Again, Man City options aren't a must, but in case if you have Arsenal and Man United already in place, you go for a Man City option. There's going to be a lot of rotation, so if you want, you can skip it as well. You can just probably go towards a cheaper option, let's say like a Bueno, maybe to facilitate some funds in your team. Or else you can maybe go for a Mings as well, who has a fixture in Game Week 25 and is also giving a fixture in 28. I think it also depends on who is this player. I mean, whether Cancelo was your third option or your fourth defender. Because if he was your third defender, then you'll possibly have to get a better option instead of a Mings, for example, who can actually give you a lot of points as well. But I think if he's your fourth defender and you can easily bench that fourth defender, maybe play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3, I think in that case you can easily go for Mings as well. And in case if it's not a priority, maybe you can save this replacement or this particular transfer. Maybe look at Chelsea options, because I think Chelsea, if you know a nailed Chelsea defender, I think that could be a route as well. In any case, if you're looking at a Man City option, then you maybe go towards a Nathan Ake or an Akanji, probably, because we've heard Pep saying that Nathan Ake is probably not going to play all games. So there is a rotation hinted there already. And I think if I'm looking at one option, probably right now, I'll probably look at Akanji as the most nailed pick, especially when you're talking about Man City options. So I think that's where I'll probably look at in terms of the Cancelo replacements. No questions. Just plan on selling Cancelo in the next game week. Absolutely fine. Any chance of Newcastle having a double game week? It doesn't look like in the near future. Could be a possibility in game week 28, game week 28, game week 29. So that could be a possibility, but I think right now maybe not. We're not really expecting Newcastle to have a double game week very very soon. They do have a blank in 25, so be mindful of that. Did Darwin to Nketiah, which is fine. De Bruyne to Bruno, which is also okay. Not taking any hits. Next week, Martin to Odegaard, I think looks pretty solid. I think next week it will be a hit if I'm not wrong. I think which should be okay because you're getting Odegaard and you're getting Mahrez, and I think both players should start both games. I think they should be okay. Hey Mad, hello to you. I hope you're doing well. I am doing great. David De Gea and KDB out. Kepa and Bruno in for a -4. I mean, Kepa is okay because the fixtures are fine, so I'll possibly not take the hit. I'll try to get in Shaw if I can. And if you can't, then just I mean, it's fine. I because see the upside with David Gea is not a lot, right? I mean, he's probably gonna give you 12 points at max, maybe 12, 13 or 14 if he gets a bonus here and there. It's not gonna be as much. So I think, yeah, I think you probably don't take a hit for him. I think Kepa can easily keep a clean sheet in this one, and the upcoming fixtures for Kepa are also okay. I'll try to get in Shaw if I can. If I'm really taking a hit, I still feel taking a hit for Shaw also doesn't make a lot of sense because you probably have to take out Shaw before game week 25 because I'm assuming Shaw will be in your three defenders or your four defenders if you're playing a back three or a back four. So I think a hit is maybe not required, but in case if you still want to take a hit, maybe try to take it for a Shaw or maybe an extra attacker. I think that's where you can actually go. Uh, if you already have David De Gea, then just keep him. I mean, why take a double gimmick player? In case if you're making some adjustments to get in a Bruno to to get in a Rashford, to get in a Martial, a Weghorst, maybe something like that, then I think it makes sense. Otherwise, it's fine. Think of using triple captain on Trippier if Newcastle have a tough game week in the coming game weeks. That's really, really brave. Though, I mean, he's been scoring really well. I think he's the second highest point scorer, if I'm not wrong, after or behind Haaland. I'm still not sure about the exact number of points, but yeah. It's just that the risk with Trippier is always the same, right? If he loses a clean sheet, he's not going to get bonus points. If he's not going to get bonus points, his haul or his overall haul won't be that high. Yes, he can still give us a goal, give us an attacking return, give us an assist. But then again, without the clean sheet, he's not going to get those bonus points. So that's the only worry that I have when I'm thinking of captaining, a Trippier. And I think that has always been the case when I'm thinking of an alternate route to Haaland. When I wanted to go a bit different. But yeah, going for Trippier is actually very brave. My plan for next week is to bring KDB in for Bruno if I'm doing that transfer. You can still do it, but then again, I'll still keep David De Gea if that's the thing. I think that is fine. If you can just do, I'm not sure how many other United players you have, but if you can just do KDB to Bruno, I think that should also be okay. But I'm assuming you're taking out David De Gea to get in Bruno as your third option. I might be wrong. Let me correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm triple captaining not this week. Most likely, I'm triple captaining in 23, which is next week. Triple captain Rashi this week or Hala next week. I mean, that's what I've been also debating in my head. Right, both are good options. I don't necessarily think it's very very different because see we can look at it from multiple angles. Rashford in form, Rashford having a better matchup, Haaland being Haaland as the FPL option that he is. In spite of Arsenal, I think it still could be okay. Then we can talk about the days of rest. Then we can talk about Man City probably being a slightly better attack than United. Maybe not right now because the numbers don't tell that. But I mean, yeah, it's just very tricky. I don't think so. We have to really really think so much about it. I don't think so. The difference is going to be massive. To be very honest, I mean because the fixtures this week, I really don't think so. Rashford is probably going to get less than 8 to 10 points, and if he really does, if he blanks in both, I mean there's just pure not being lucky at all. I mean the fixtures are that he can really really haul. So if you really believe in that, then go for Rashford this week. If you want to go probably safe and don't want to take a lot of chances, a lot of risk. And if you feel that Haaland is probably a better option in general, then I think you go Haaland. Rashford this week, Man City versus Arsenal is 50-50. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely say that, but as I said, right, depends on game state. If there is a goal or so early on in the game, I think it could be a high scoring game as well. On the other hand, if there are no goals, if both teams are very cagey, I just feel Man City will absolutely go for it because they have to win this game. Arsenal don't. So Arsenal are even okay if they get a draw out of this, because this is another fixtures they can actually drop points. But Man City really have to win this, and I think that's probably enough reason for me to just go towards Haaland triple captaincy next week. Zinchenko, Gabriel. I still feel Gabriel is the option to go for. Don't think so. Zinchenko is as nailed as a lot of people are probably thinking, and I think if you just want to go for an absolute surety, yes, you're spending a little bit more money here, but I think Gabriel is pretty much safe and sound. I don't think so. There's any threat of rotation there. Kane and Almiron to Nketiah and Fernandes this week, which has been a common transfer route. And then Fernandes to Mahrez, which is also fine. Already have KDB and Haaland. Problem is that you won't have Saka or Odegaard, have Martinelli in white. Now you have to figure out, right, whether you consider the Arsenal double as a better double, or whether you consider the Man City double as a better double. I know it's a bit weird to talk about this because Arsenal and Man City are facing each other, so that kind of cancels out. But yeah, I mean, if I have to prefer a three or a triple up, I'll try to you know go for the Arsenal triple up right now more than the Man City triple up. Man City, yeah, yes, they're Man City. They score a lot of goals. They create a lot of chances, but they look like they are struggling a little bit in attack, and I think that just edges or nudges the possibility of better options being at Arsenal than Man City. So I understand KDB, Haaland, and Maris could be great. But yeah, I mean, if you have to prioritize Saka or Odegaard, which I think you should, then maybe look for a different route to this week in terms of transfer, especially. And we have Shaw. That's the reason I was thinking Shaw, David De Gea, Rashford. I mean, I think I'll still take the hit. It's a double game week, both good fixtures. I know a lot of people might say that it doesn't make any sense, but then I mean, you're stuck in a tricky position. I still feel there will be a few hits flying around this week as well, and I think, yeah, I think it's fine. Just take a hit, and you know, double United attack is definitely better than double United defense, and that's where I am. I think they can absolutely outscore double United defense by 4 points, and I think plus another four if you consider regular transfer as 4 points. So I think it's fine. It's not ideal for sure, but then there's a high chance of losing out a lot if you don't do that, right? Because sure, David De Gea, the upside with both picks or the ceiling with both picks is not very high, but a Rashford and a Bruno could be absolutely crazy, right? Start White or Almiron. I'll start White. Buy Mitoma Odegaard this week. Have triple Man United and Trippier. Plan to swap Fernandes to Mahrez next week. Have Nketiah and Martinelli too. I think it depends on your Game Week 25 plan. In case if you're planning to make multiple moves, make multiple transfers, and then just navigate it through regular transfers, then don't get Mitoma. I think that's the general advice or general thinking. That's how you approach FPL from a logical point of view. But again, if you just want to focus the next 3 weeks and attack, I think Mitoma looks really solid. But like the logical play or the safer play here is to bring in Odegaard this week, and then you're getting an additional player, or you're getting one player who basically plays in 25. With Mitoma, you'll have an additional headache. But yeah, I mean, there again, like the triple captaincy, like the Bruno to Kane, and those kind of moves. There are multiple ways of thinking about it. It depends on whether you want to go safe or whether you want to go a bit attacking. A bit attacking is Mitoma, a bit safer is Odegaard. KDB to Bruno and triple captain Rashi. I think still looks pretty solid. Just make sure of what you're doing with your triple city options next week, whether you're going a defender, whether you're getting in Mares back, whether you're getting in KDB back. I think, yeah. But in isolation, the transfer looks good. The triple captaincy looks good as well. I did taking March last game week. I want to use my free transfer to get Mitoma this week instead of March. No, I don't think so. Doing March to Mitoma still doesn't make sense. See, this week it might happen that March gets a double-digit haul and Mitoma just gives you 3 or 4 points, or maybe blanks as well, right? So that is also a possibility with the Martinelli and Odegaard as well. I know a lot of people are transferring out Martinelli and getting in Odegaard, but it is not a necessary transfer to make. It is not a must-do transfer to make because Martinelli is not injured. Martinelli is not suddenly out of favor. He's suddenly not out of the lineup as well. it's all assumptions at the end of the day. We still do not know what's going to happen, right? So that's where I am, because I've faced this in the past as well, where I've tried to do these sideways moves, and because of the fact that I probably thought that I got the wrong option or a wrong transfer, and then the other player scored more points, and I was even more frustrated, right? So that's just classic FPL. But yeah, I mean, Mitoma can still do well, not to rub it in you or anything like that, but Mitoma can still outscore March. But the move doesn't really make any sense, because March also has great potential. He also has decent numbers. He's been great as well. We've seen that he can get double digit hauls as well. So I don't think so. I'll make that move. Bench one, March, Kane, Odegaard, or Tony. If you're playing a little bit safe, then you bench March. If you're playing a little bit more attacking, then you bench Tony. I'll still play Kane and Odegaard both, because I feel both have potential to do well. Even Kane against Man City, I think there's a lot of potential in Kane. He's been playing quite well for Tottenham. I know Tottenham as a team haven't really looked that great, and they are struggling in attack, in defense as well. They aren't really keeping clean sheets and all that. But I think it's probably going to be between March and Tony. Tony has Southampton, so you'll probably not want to bench him. So, and it's a safer move as well to play Tony, because he's slightly more owned. I think he'll definitely be more owned than March. So I think you basically bench March. That's what it is. Start Botman or me. Already have Trippier. I think me has a good record against Palace. Brentford has a good record against Palace. I think he's been getting a lot of points as well. I don't mind starting Ben Me, over, let's say, over a Botman, because again, with Botman the ceiling is not very high. Me may just get you a goal, may just get you more bonus points than a Botman. That's what we've generally seen. Because if Newcastle are keeping clean sheet, Trippier will always be in three bonus points unless they've really scored 5 or 6 goals, which has not really happened, right? So I think again, the safer option here would be to play Botman and add to that Trippier pick. But then again, I think me possibly can outscore Botman this week as well. Start, and especially Brentford are playing against Crystal Palace, which doesn't have Zaha, right? So Zaha is not playing this week. So I think because of that, the potential with wait, I'm getting it wrong. I was checking Game Week 24. My bad. Brentford is up against Southampton. Yeah, I mean, it's not Zaha then. Of course, Brentford is up against Southampton. Southampton struggling in defense, and I still feel they can keep a clean sheet. So I think, yeah, that's what it is. Zaha is injured. Yeah, I mean, off topic and off conversation. I just sidetracked for a second, but yeah, Zaha is injured, and he's possibly going to be out for some time. Start Mitrovic or Botman. I'll start the attacker always because of more upside. And Mitrovic is on pens. Mitrovic is Fulham's best attacker. I know it's against Chelsea, but I just feel it's still better to to go for the higher upside player, the attacker here, and which is Mitrovic. Kane and Andrews to Nketiah and Fernandes for free. We'll do that. Then Almiron and Botman to Maris and Bueno next week. Looks pretty solid. I know it's for a hit, and I mean, you'll feel that why would I take Bueno for a hit? But then ultimately, also, you'll have to possibly take a hit later on in maybe to navigate Game Week 25 or even 28. I still feel Wolves, and I still think Wolves can still blank in Game Week 28. But yeah, I mean, even for a hit, the move is absolutely fine. You're getting some additional money with Bueno, and that's what I did as well, right? I gotten Bueno this week, took a hit, but really sets me up well for next week as well. So I think it's fine. Are you using the triple captainship this week? I am not using the triple captainship this week. If I mean, still debating, but I think I'm pretty certain right now that I'll possibly wait for Haaland triple captain in game week 23. Having said that, Rashford is not a bad option, and again, as I said, there can be a lot of narratives here in terms of which way to go, but I just feel it's not going to be a lot, and I'm possibly just going to play a little bit safer here and maybe go Haaland if we get some information about some injuries to Man City options, something that basically makes Haaland getting a haul a bit difficult. I might even just save it for a later game week. I mean, that also is a possibility. You just saw a wildcard video. Out of three drafts you put up, which one would you bet on for the most explosive points this week? I'll have to look at my drafts here, but I think let me just see if I can quickly get those drafts. I'll just quickly open it till the time. In the meantime, I'll answer the other questions. Whom to start, Mitrovic or Martial? I'll still take a risk with Martial. I know Martial has not been pictured in training, and there was no update regarding Martial, in the press conferences, in Eric Ten Hag's press conference as well. But it's still a double game week, right? And I still would take a risk with Martial. I know it's risky because he may not even end up playing 90 minutes as a total. Mitrovic can absolutely explode against Chelsea, but I think, yeah, I think it's fine. I'm going to risk it. Going double man at defense. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a tough watch because not having Bruno, especially considering a fair amount of managers are probably triple captaining Bruno, and I think a lot of people would have Bruno. I think he has to be definitely has to be the most transferred in player by a huge margin. I mean, yeah, almost 1 million managers. uh, yeah, almost 1 million managers have transferred in Bruno. So yeah, all the best. I think it's going to be a tough week. Mitrovic to Nketiah roll the transfer can actually do that. If it's a transfer that I mean, there's nothing else to do. I think it's absolutely fine. Yeah. So I've got the three drafts. So the first draft basically had triple Man City. It had Mings as a cover. It had Mitrovic, Haaland, and Nonto. Then the second was Greenwood, Kane. Second and third basically have Kane in it, and then have Fernandes and De Bruyne. I think the last draft, if I'm okay with having Mitoma in there, I think second draft is the one that I think could really do the best. It has Shaw, Ake, Zinchenko, Trippier, Bueno. Then it has De Bruyne, Saka, Rashford, Mitoma, and Odegaard. So you have double Arsenal. You have De Bruyne. You have Mitoma as well. If you have some additional money, maybe you can upgrade to a Mahrez as well. And if you want to downgrade Kane, you maybe go Kane to a cheaper option and then get in Mahrez. So I think that is I still feel with a little bit of tinkering, I think give me the second wildcard draft is still looking like the best one to go for. It's basically a 3-5-2 with Greenwood as the third option. You got just bench one, March, Kane, Odegaard, Mitoma, Tony. I think I did answer this question earlier as well. If you're playing safe, then you bench March. If you're going a bit attacking, then you bench Lil Tony, but that's a bit risky. Uh, I'll still play Kane, Odegaard, and Mitoma. I think all three are really good, have a lot of potential. Hey Shan, hello to you. Long time. Yeah, I mean, it feels like a long time. Should I sell Pereira or Almiron as well as Kane to get an Nketiah and Fernandez? Sell Andres or Almiron, although either way, they both will be on my bench. If I'm selling one, I'll probably sell Almiron because first of all, he's costing you more money. So you have more money invested in your bench. That's number one. Pereira is still, I mean, both haven't been that great, though Pereira is still posting decent stats. Almiron's numbers have fallen off a cliff, and his form has definitely taken a hit. So if I'm transferring out one player, I think it'll be Almiron. Fulham also have a fixture in Gaming 25, right? So that's another point that kind of makes your case to sell Almiron and hold Andres Pereira. And I think it's fine. Even if that plays on the bench, I think it should be okay. The team currently is Kepa, Cucurella, two Chelsea options. Of course, Shaw, Trippier, Martinelli, Rashford, Odegaard, Bruno, Kane, Haaland, and Tony. Use your free transfer to bring in Bruno. I'm worried about Cucurella's minutes this week. Should I take a hit? Also depends on what you're taking a hit for, right? I mean, I don't necessarily see an option this week where you have to take a hit. Doesn't really make sense to take a hit for a Man City option. I don't think so. Also depends on your bench. If you don't have a bench at all, maybe a hit, but I don't think so. You should take a hit. Maybe just hope and pray that Cucurella gets some minutes, and you can just get away with this pick and maybe change him next week. Mitom was about to blow it up this week. The second draft it is absolutely. Let's really hope that you can absolutely nail it. If I need a massive haul in me league, do I triple captain Bruno? I think you should. A lot of managers, or I'm very certain in your mini league, most of the managers will either captain Haaland or captain Rashford. Maybe a fair few of them also triple captain Rashford this week. You can counter that if you are looking to gain some ground, gain some rank. I think triple captain Bruno is then a case, but then be aware, or be at least be informed of the fact that Rashford definitely has more potential than a Bruno Fernandes. because he has more goal threat, and I think he's definitely been in better form than Bruno Fernandes as well. So yeah, in case if you're haul chasing, in case if you're going aggressive, then triple captain Bruno is fine. Otherwise, don't do it. Odegaard or Mitoma for a -4. Mitoma for Pereira. Odegaard for Martinelli. Um, Odegaard Mitoma for a -4. I think if I'm taking a hit, I'll go Odegaard because it sets me up for game week 23, where Odegaard is doubling, and then also gives me a fixture in 25. Mitoma for Pereira, Odegaard for Martinelli. I mean, if also depends on your plan for game week 25 and how many and what's your rest of the team. See, in isolation, these moves are absolutely fine. Mitoma basically allows you to take, to go a bit aggressive in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then try to gain some ground, try to gain some rank. But answering this without knowing the entire team is a bit difficult, and especially what's your plan for Game Week 25 as well, because I've seen a lot of players, a lot of managers using the free hit chip in Game Week 25. So yeah, otherwise in isolation this looks fine. I'll bring in White or Saliba instead of Cucurella or even Silva. Yeah, I mean those are possible options. Um, Even Gabriel, I think Gabriel is slightly cheaper, maybe 0.1 million cheaper if I'm not wrong, and I think you can go there. Odegaard Mitoma, I've already answered this. Oscar, I think it's fine. For a -4, I think if you're taking, I'm trying to understand the question as well. If you're taking a hit for one player, I think Odegaard is okay. If you want to go a bit aggressive, then you go Mitoma. As a combination as well, I think this is fine. -4 for Odegaard for Martinelli, or should I keep -4 for Odegaard for Martinelli? It's not necessarily this week. Maybe just see 1 week. See this week what happens. See how many minutes Martinelli is getting. As I said earlier in the stream as well, Martinelli is not out of favor. Martinelli is not injured. He is. It's not that he's not gonna absolutely not start any games for Arsenal right now, right? And Trossard can play in multiple positions. I think if forgetting that fact, there's a lot of bias in terms of what he's been doing at Brighton. Now we still don't know how Arteta is gonna, deploy Trossard in the Arsenal setup. It may not be similar to what he's been doing at Brighton. So I think it's okay not to rush into that decision, because we can get one more week of information. We can have one more week of eye test. We can see what's happening on the pitch and how Arsenal plays against Everton, and then we can take that call. Hey Shreyas, thank you so much as well joining the stream. I was the one with the KDB Martinelli Tony benching question. Yes, I'm taking your advice in benching Tony. Thanks again. Let's really hope that Tony blanks, because I also don't have Tony in my team. I took him out for a hit, and that just absolutely looks crazy because he's been in okay form. He's been scoring points for me as well. But yeah, I mean had to do it because had to cover off the Fernandez pick, and I just feel Fernandez can outscore Tony, so I think it's fine. I'm 100 points behind. That's a lot of points. I think, yeah, I mean, Rashford could be a trap. Absolutely could be a trap. May not even play 90 minutes in both games. That's also a high possibility. And yeah, I mean, Fernandez definitely looks like the player who, should be playing more minutes. He looks like the player who will possibly also be on penalties. I know Rashford took the last one, but generally, I think Bruno Fernandez is the one who is on penalties, and I think he will stay on pens. Uh, can't be 100% sure of that, but I still feel it's gonna be Bruno. But yeah, I mean, you could absolutely be right that Bruno Fernandes absolutely smashes it, and Rashford could be a trap at the end of the day. I currently have Rashford captain, but low key want to do shock captain. Just have a feeling it might be a double clean sheet plus one assist. I mean, if he gets an assist, a double clean sheet, maybe a couple of bonus points, I think that's a massive haul in itself, right? Could be 16, 17 points, and you'll be absolutely crazy. But yeah, not for me. If you can do it, if you have the heart to do it, I know you do have the heart to do it, then do it. Otherwise, just go safe and not take a lot of risk. Myself, Odegaard, I've answered this. Hey Savio, hello to you. I'm okay. I'm doing great. In fact, I hope you've also been doing fine. Set for this game week, but what are your thoughts on Lucas Digne now that Moreno's also come in? I mean, I Lucas is one of those players, right? I mean, you want to take him because there is potential. There's always been potential. I mean, he's given us some decent memories, but he's a troll player at the end of the day, and I just feel I'll. I mean, as a pick as a player, I still feel there could be some shared minutes etc. there. But yeah, if I'm talking from an FPL perspective, I think I'll still go Tyrant Mings because I understand that there's not a huge price difference, but I think Mings is pretty much a nailed option, and I think Villa's defense has definitely gotten better in terms of talking about attacking threat and talking about attacking returns. I still don't see a lot coming from from either of Villa's fullbacks or wing backs, and I think you just go basically safer by going for Mings. It just doesn't feel right, going for Moreno right now. I mean, we still don't know whether he's going to be as nailed as probably we're thinking, or maybe Lucas Digne is probably going to take off minutes. I still think Lucas Digne is still not going to start or just continue or just keep starting games once he gets that 90-minute under his belt. But yeah, still a bit difficult to predict that, and that's the reason I personally am thinking of going Mings. Trossard going to score two hat tricks at a field in one season. Yes, I am a Liverpool fan. Anfield, sorry. Two hat tricks at Anfield. I mean, just feel sad. We've reached a point where it's not even fun to make fun of or just do a little bit banter with Liverpool options because or Liverpool as a team because now I'm a Manchester United fan, right? And of course the rivalry and what goes with it. It just feels sad now to even talk about Liverpool. The fans are dejected, their heads are down. My friends, they aren't really getting into that banter again, and it's just sad. But yeah, I think with the way things are going with Liverpool, and hardly any sign. I mean, nothing in the January transfer window as well. I think it could be, yeah, it could be a bit tricky. Should I start March or Martinelli with Dyke, Sean Dyke? I think Everton will play. I mean, they definitely will play Park the Bus. It doesn't go well with Martinelli, but Martinelli's side, Everton have been the poorest and the weakest. And I think with that matchup, I think there's a lot of potential in Martinelli. So I think starting Martinelli in terms of the itis, in terms of the matchups, in terms of chances conceded by Everton on that side, I still feel there's more potential in Martinelli, and I think he deserves a start ahead of March. Sorry, I've been joining streams lately. Haven't been joining streams lately. Sorry for that. That's okay. That's absolutely fine. Hope your college is doing fine and you are doing great. And do let me know how things are going at your end as well. Play Martinelli or Mount. I have Martial too. I mean, where the hell has Mount come into the conversation? It's just with Chelsea signing so many players, it doesn't even feel. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen at Chelsea to be very very honest. Need to see more games of, or need to see some more minutes from these players, and I think playing Martinelli is absolutely fine. I think again, I'm assuming you'll have to take out another player, maybe take a hit, and then get towards a Bruno Fernandes if at all you can do that. If that is possible, I mean, maybe do that. But I think otherwise, just, I mean, yeah, just play Martial. And it's not ideal because Martial, as I said earlier, may not even last for 90 minutes for both, or I mean, a combined 90 minutes across both games. I think that's the tricky part. But yeah, if I had to take a hit and try or or get in Bruno Fernandes in some way or the other, I think I'll personally do it. Bench Nonto and Ketia. I'll bench Nonto in spite of him having a double game week. I think I'll still play in Ketia. But again, if you feel that you have to play a double game week player because there's more potential, maybe he gets more minutes, then Nonto is also fine. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I didn't go for the Almiron Fernandez switch and the uh, the Mitrovic to a Nonto switch because I was still not very sure whether I'll play Nonto this week or not, and I wanted to play a double game week player. But yeah, I mean Nonto just his numbers are okay. He's been in great form as well, but I'll personally play Enketia in case if you feel that you have to play a double gaming player, go with Nonto. Is it worth selling Botman and Andres Pereira to Maris and Bueno for a hit next week, even if Botman faces Bournemouth? I mean, it also depends on what 11 you can play and how many double gaming players you have, right? Especially when you talk about Man City, because you're talking about Maris here. Depends on how many from City can you get. If you have three, or if you can make some other changes, make some other moves, and still get three players. Maybe don't take that hit, but by taking that hit, you're also taking care of Gaming 25 because Gaming 25 is a blank for Newcastle. So I think Bueno also serves that purpose as well. So make that math or make that equation in your head and in front of your team and see what's the best solution. If you can avoid the hit, of course do that. But if you can't, I think hits are very a lot of people are very afraid of taking hits. I don't think so. It's bad, especially when you're going for some. I mean, you're trying to fix your team. If you're trying to fix any mistakes, if you're trying to attack with double game week options and all that stuff, I think hits are absolutely fine. I'm a Chelsea fan and we have more signings than wins. I mean, yeah, I read that on I think on Instagram in one of the posts where they had mentioned that you have more signings than points. It was than wins. Sorry, but it was just hilarious. But yeah, do let me know what you're thinking about Chelsea. You think that you're gonna play a 4-2-3-1 with James Silva, Badishile. I think I've murdered that name already. Chilwell, Enzo, Kovacic, Mudrik. Mudrik was really really good. Havertz, Felix. I mean, yeah, still looks like a very strong team. But yeah, let's see what happens. Start De Bruyne or Martinelli. I'll start De Bruyne still. Do you think it's worth a hit to get an Odegaard as I can't start Mitrovic or bench Mitro to get Odegaard for a -4? Other transfers KDB to Bruno. Mm, I mean, KDB to Bruno is absolutely fine. I mean, you don't have to get an Odegaard for a hit. You can absolutely start Mitrovic and you can get in this move next week. I don't think so. This is a necessary hit to take this week. Bench share or Zinchenko. I think I'll still bench. I mean, if you have Trippier already, then I'll bench Shar. And yeah, I'll play Zinchenko. Next week, City double feels like a massive headache to triple up. Almost think to just keep two. I mean, makes sense. To be honest, makes a lot of sense because you're not guaranteed in terms of which defender is going to start. You're not even guaranteed whether City are going to keep two clean sheets. That's additional or another headache. And I think we just want to avoid that, to be very, very honest. City haven't really looked that great, but it's very. I think it's just one sided to think that they're also not going to do well in the double. Yes, they're two good sides, and Aston Villa is definitely an improved side. Arsenal, we all know how they're playing this season, but I still feel there is potential in the City attack at least, and especially when there's a lot of Pep rotation already happening. I mean, you can easily go for a triple up on that Man City attack and try to play that Pep roulette. At least it's better to play the Pep roulette with the attackers right now than the defenders because defenders they're not even playing 60 minutes. Some of them are getting substituted at 45 minutes. Even if they play 60 minutes, they're not giving you clean sheets. It's absolutely rubbish at the moment. And I mean, yeah, I totally get that argument. If I do those moves, I'll have six double gaming players, three Man City and three Arsenal. I think it should be fine. It should be okay. The priority should be. I still think the priority should be to have three and three because that really maximizes your output. Of course, it also depends on which three you have from both teams. But I think the six looks like the way to go. Bench Martinelli, KDB or Kane. My God. If I'm benching one, I'll bench Martinelli. Very reluctantly, I'll bench Martinelli. I think KDB and Kane both could do really well. I don't know. I should bring in Bruno and remove David De Gea or what. I mean, follow your gut. If your gut is saying do it, then absolutely do it. I'm not gonna. I think I've tried to answer it and I've tried to help you out here, but yeah, is for me it won't be a comfortable watch because it's already crossed a million. I mean, I'm checking. I just refreshed the page. It's 1 million transfers for Bruno Fernandes. His ownership is 14.3, so it's comparatively lower. But yeah, I think yeah. Let's see. Short triple captain from my side. I mean, that is crazy, right? That is absolutely crazy. I'll be rooting for you for sure. Go for it, Sharon. Triple captain Bruno is also a brave move. Absolutely. 5 minutes to go. I might bottle it. Let's hope you don't do that. Which one player should I keep in playing 11 among Cucurella, Almiron, and Mitrovic? If I'm keeping one player out of all these options, I'll play Mitrovic. I still think there is potential, even against Chelsea. I think Fulham can score a goal. And at the start of the week, haven't opened the site since. Playing Botman over Mitro, right choice. I'll play the attacker to be very honest, but if you want to play safe, then you basically go Botman. These team starts. Haven't really checked Twitter at all, and I don't even think we have a lot of time left. Do you have the lineup though? Would be interested to see the lineup if you can share the lineup or if there's some information regarding that. Kano Mings, Kano Mings. If it's starting one player, I'll definitely start Kane. I won't start Mings. I'm locked in. Be right back. Going to play that Bruno won't score. No, that's fine. Absolutely fine. I mean, of course, I want him to do well. But for your sake, let's just hope that he keeps quiet. I know Savio will definitely hate me or kill me if I say that, but I think, yeah, that's where it is. Yeah, Reece James starts is what I'm reading as well. Nothing else in terms of. Kukurea to James for a hit. No, not for a hit. Won't do that. Martinelli and Almiron probably going down in price tonight. Sell Almiron, everyone. I think, yeah, I mean, Almiron definitely going down in price. Martinelli definitely going down in price. I might have to do the move myself because otherwise I won't be. I think I won't have that much money to make the Martinelli to Odegaard switch. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Still a long game week. I mean, 6.6 would be Martinelli's price. So I basically have to make the move before Odegaard rises in price. Otherwise, I won't be able to make that move. But yeah, right now I think I'll still keep it, and I still want to see the match. I still want to see the game and see what happens there. But in case if you're locked out in terms of price, then maybe make the move a little early. I know it's not ideal, and see if you can make an alternate plan, etc. If you can't, then maybe make the move. But yeah, Almiron is somebody that you can easily transfer out. Again, if you're locked out of any particular player, then make the move. Otherwise, just wait and watch. Great, guys. A couple of more minutes. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're new around here. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. There's a lot of stuff happening. We'll keep you guys posted. But yeah, do hit the like button on the stream. I hope I was able to help you on any questions, anything that you had. I hope this was helpful and useful. In general, we do this every week. KD price is sinking like a stone. So I mean, yeah, down 0.2 million. That's he's not the same value, right? It just feels that he's a lot of money, and he's not been giving us the performance. It doesn't even feel like a season now where we really need premium options. We don't need premium defenders at the moment. It could change in the future, but right now it's not required. It may be a possibility that we do not want, or we do not have to go for players like De Bruyne or Salah, because they've both fallen off the cliff. I mean, De Bruyne is still okay. It's still better than Salah, but yeah, I mean, both of them haven't been value at all. Rashford, a Bruno triple captain. Rashford safe. If you're going safe, go Rashford. Go Rashford. Absolutely go Rashford. If you're really, really going out there, take a risk, then go Bruno. That's what it is. Savio's Bruno. I'm Rashford. Trying to get Kane back in ASAP. Yeah, I mean the fixtures look really good. Kane has been silently doing really, really well, right? He's at 140 points. It's not a joke, right? I mean I know not. I have not had Kane for most of the season, and I don't think so. I remember having Kane for a consistent amount of time, and he has been smashing it very silently. So yeah, that's let's see. I think with a lot of these doubles and options, cheaper options, and we had the likes of Nketiah, we had Martial at one point of time. Maybe Weghorst becomes an option. I don't know that yet. Then we have Tori, Mitrovic. So the presence of these options and decent fixtures for them, I think that's what prompts a lot of people, a lot of managers to not go for Kane, because then they can find value in other options across midfield. And I feel that right now, if I'm looking at a team structure or a overall structure in terms of what should be the overall team, or how should it look like, I still think it's a 3-5-2 right now. Of course, that could change with Nketiah coming in. It could change with somebody like let's say like a Mitrovic then coming in, maybe a Tony, maybe not for game week 25, maybe beyond that. The structure could generally change. I think a 3-5-2 looks like the strongest template or the strongest, formation right now. Deadline, all the best, guys. I hope we've not bottled it. I really, really hope that we have a good week. All the best. Have a great week. I can't even. The worst part is that I've not even seen my team. I just hope that I did save my team and I did put captaincy on Rashford. Oh man. I really, really hope I did that because I don't know if I did. I don't know. I've been posting my team. I posted my team in the morning, I think, and I've not checked my team because there's so much to do the entire day. But I just hope that I've not bottled it myself. Bottle shot, triple captain, and stuck with Rashi captain. That's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Did Rashford triple captain? This was stressful. This was really stressful. I'm going to regret it. Let's really, really hope you don't. Thank you, Playing 11, for that super chat. James starts, according to the Chelsea Football Club news. That's what we know. I'm happy for James, and I think it'll be very interesting to see Chelsea. And I think do keep an eye on Chelsea assets and Chelsea options. Of course, I'll help you out, and I think a lot of people will still talk about Chelsea options if they become viable. FPL players all of a sudden. But I think they're definitely a team to watch. Really excited to see what can happen with the amount of signings that they've made, and I think it could be really interesting. All the best to Savio, to you as well, Savio. Liverpool fan here, hoping for a Bruno hat trick. I mean, yeah, that's what FPL does to you, right? You football loyalties are set aside, and you really, really bang your head to get in a good haul or get in a good score every week. And yeah, that's what happens to us active or slightly active or engaged managers, and I think it's just a lot of fun. My friend Captain James. Oh yeah, that could be interesting though. Tomorrow probably Captain Rashford. Hope Bruno blanks. I mean, there are already so many narratives in play, right? Somebody's wishing for a Bruno massive haul. Somebody's wishing for Bruno to blank. Somebody's wishing for other players to not turn up this week. For me, it's Tony because I sold him for a hit. Definitely not ideal, but I think I mean I could have avoided the hit when I thought about it, but then I mean that doesn't make any sense to trouble yourself with that thought, especially once you've made the move. So I think it's fine. Great guys, to enjoy football this week. It's been a long time coming. I think it's been quite some time since we've had proper games. Of course, very very excited to have a double game week for Man United. FPL aside, just very very happy in terms of how Man United has been playing and how everything has been happening for us. Exciting times for teams like United, for teams like Arsenal, even Chelsea. I think Liverpool is a place which is probably not happy at all right now, but I think they will definitely get better with time, and they should uh, be right up there. Feels like a big swing game week. I mean, it could be if players like Rashford and Bruno can absolutely nail it, absolutely smash it. People who've gone for triple captaincy on either player, I think it could be a massive massive week. Somebody like me who's probably gonna go with Haaland triple captain in game week 23, he may not do he may not do well. He may blank or he may have a lower overall point score, and I think that could be a massive variance there. If I triple captain Rashford over Bruno, do I need Bruno to blank for my rank? I mean, if you've triple captain Rashford, of course you want him to do well, but I don't think so. Bruno's ownership is probably going to be as high. You know, yeah. So I think of course you don't need. It depends, right? If you have Bruno and if his ownership is less than 100%, any sort of points from Bruno, I think is going to be a gain for you. Uh, but yeah, I mean, and I personally don't think so. His effective ownership is going to be more than 100%. It could be, considering that he has had 1 million odd transfers, but I don't think so. It's going to be as high as that. So happy as a Man United fan. Same here, man. Sabitzer, yeah, I mean, looking forward to seeing him playing. Ericsson's injury was is still a bit worrying because Ericsson has been one of the best players this week as well. I mean, yes, we've had some standout performances from Casemiro. I mean, he's been great. Then we've also had Rashford. Bruno is coming in form, but yeah, I still think Sabitzer could have something to do from now till the end of the season. I think it'll be interesting to see how he turns up for Man United. In general, just really really buzzing to to do well. There are some winnable games coming up. At least till game week 24, there are all winnable games, and we can get some decent goals in there as well. So I think overall very happy. So yeah, that's what it is. We'll leave it there, guys. Thank you so much again for joining. Hit like, hit subscribe if you've not subscribed to the channel. Please do that, and it would really help me and help the channel as well. Today was a very important and a very special day for me and for the channel as well. We started the Insanely Football FPL podcast, and of course there was an Instagram post as well about that. and it will be available on different platforms in your regular podcasting platforms as well. It's going to be a weekly series. I had to start it a long time back, but finally have managed to to make it live. And yeah, some more interesting news coming up in terms of the Insanely Football website, which is also pending from quite some time, and I think that should be ready by next week as well. I'll of course update and I'll share it with you as well once it's ready, and happy to help in any way I can, and make your FPL journey a lot better. I think that's always been the aim of this channel. And again, thank you all for your support and all the love that you've shared with me for a really long time now. I think it's been very very overwhelming, and I think it's been a great journey so far. Great. With that, I think we'll call it a night. I mean, if it's night at your at your time, a very good night to you. And yeah, I mean, have a great week. Keep smiling. Have a lovely time. Do watch a lot of football if you can. I think it's always great to be involved in football in whatever we can. And I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Bye bye.